Hello everyone, welcome to Originz. My name is Matt Worldly, and honestly, I'm excited to be here, I'm not gonna lie. The first episode, transmission, whatever you want to call it, of Originz was nerve-wracking. It was a little bit emotional, you know, I cried a little bit, but I think I got that out of my system. Not necessarily the crying part. I think I'll cry again, because crying is awesome. Crying is my superpower. But for the most part, I'm excited to be here, and I want to say cheers to all of you, because granted, the perception of the world right now is totally crazy and chaotic and destructive. A lot of people that I'm talking to are thriving and living their dreams, and a lot of great things are happening. And I don't know, I just have this feeling that maybe we're all going through that, and we're just not talking about it enough because something is being shoved down our throats, you know? So let's just all take a deep breath for a second and just express some serious gratitude for this life and whatever you're going through. And if you are going through it, if you're not, if you're struggling is also a blessing, you know? DMX once said that to live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning within the suffer. I think he stole that from the Bible, but it was a lot cooler when DMX said it. So here we are. I just wanted to say cheers to all of you out there killing that shit out there. I know you're fucking killing it. It's got beer all over me, but who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? This is 3 Floyds Double India Pale Ale 30-year anniversary edition Double India Pale Ale. And I have to say, it's absolutely fucking incredible, because this is more of kind of an ambery color. It's a brownish. It's not hazy. It's not completely West Coast. It's kind of in the middle almost. And generally, those beers can be very hard to digest, to like really gulp and enjoy. Like a hazy IPA, if it's really juicy, you can fucking chug that shit on a hot summer day. West Coast IPAs, a little bit harder to do that. This is an extremely extraordinary brewed middle ground of the best of both of those worlds. The lingering hoppy taste on the back of the tongue, and a little bit of like fruitiness and a gentle sipping. So here we go. That's my fucking beer nerd review. I'm proud to be a beer nerd. I've been doing it for years now, and I know I sounded good saying all that shit just now. And even if I don't know anything about beer and I just made it all up, at least it sounded good, bitches. So, welcome to Originz. I hope you guys liked that beautiful opening. In the last episode of Originz, we talked about some pretty heavy shit. Some stories that I've never shared before. Just as a quick recap, essentially, what happened was I had a dream. I had a dream, and I lived that dream. And I'm going to show you some proof. I created a piece of artwork for my favorite artist named Pretty Lights. This is me holding the original work of art. Right before the concert, I got a hold of his management team and said I have to deliver this to this fucking this god of music. And this is me at the concert, eating a fucking cheeseburger, scoping out the situation. This is the Cuthbert Amphitheater. And before the concert started, I took this picture. There was a countdown for 2 minutes to 0 minutes. And I took this picture of 1 minute and 47 seconds because this number is very significant in my life for some reason. I'm still figuring out, I'm still learning, but I'm putting the pieces together, and I'm thinking that I'm uncovering some pretty cool shit. And that's why I decided that I wanted to make these origin videos so that you guys can see where alien wizard science comes from. It's not just this crazy thing that I made up one day. It's been these series of miraculous experiences and synchronicities where I feel like I have connected or communicated with the universe in some way. So 147 has been kind of my number and my connection to the universe. Need to get a hold of Matt Worldly? Aliens? Dial 0147 and leave a message after the fucking tone. So here we are. This picture was taken in 2013. Now this picture, however, was taken in 2009. This is when a CD that I was listening to miraculously just stopped. It didn't skip. It stopped on 1 minute and 47 seconds of a song called I'm Not Done by Fever Ray. And, at this point in time, this number had already been haunting me a lot, so I was just like, whatever, here we are again. But hey, at least I got the fucking evidence to prove it, right? So flash forward, we're at the Pretty Lights concert. I'm going to see Pretty Lights after the show to deliver the artwork. I have management's phone number, but then boom, guess what? After the show, my phone breaks. For some reason, my fucking phone broke, and the only numbers visible were 1, 4, 7, and 0. The same exact numbers that I took a picture of before the concert. This is what my phone looked like after the concert. This is me and Pretty Lights, me delivering this piece of artwork to him. Props. Truly a dream come true. Set the tone for myself as a dreamer, but we'll get into that in a moment. We learned in the last episode that once I created this piece of art, Derek mentioned that there was a part of it that looked like a floppy disk. And then my friend told me, look into this floppy disk. So I did, and I learned that a floppy disk was 1.47 megabytes. And then my friend who told me that just happened to be living at 1470 at the time. He failed to mention that to me, which absolutely blew my mind. And then just to top it off, we learned in the last Originz episode or transmission that Pretty Light's first album is 147 megabytes. Now, granted, I may sound a little bit stalkerish right now, and this 147 shit is kind of like, what the hell is going on in this guy's head? Well, truthfully, it is totally crazy. But I'm just documenting the process and showing you guys that over time, I've actually been able to put my ear to the universe and figure out what this number means and what it's all about. Are we going to learn everything in this episode right now? Absolutely not. Am I going to tell you some pretty cool shit? Are we going to move into the next phase of kind of who I became after this Pretty Lights moment and this crazy number shit happened? Absolutely. But first, before we do that, we've got to show some love and respect and some gratitude to my new Trinkets. And shout out to AI too. Yeah, fuck it, why not? This is sponsored by AI. Bloop, here's the little thing that pops up. Just joking. But anyway, AI has been helping me put some shit together, and I couldn't be more happy about this schedule. The Monday, Alien Wizard Science Origins, Wednesday, the Laboratory Discoveries, and then Friday, the show, the Alien Wizard Science transmissions. I just need to just fucking say I'm so excited about this whole lineup. Just finally, I've been waiting for this moment, and here we are. So, without further ado, I want to move on to this next part before we get into the next story. The reason why I just brought up the Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing is because I was trying to jam a little bit too much into this equation because what I really want to do is I want to share with you guys my new trinkets that I've got, and I wanted to make it its own like episode, but fuck it, like let's just incorporate it in Originz, because technically this is relevant to Originz, because I'm showing you new pieces that I get that will ultimately be used in the future, and this show is about reflecting on the past and how it has created the beauty of today, of alien wizard science, of my creative vision. So let me just start by saying what you're looking at right now are my recent scores from the Colorado Antique Mall. And yes, I don't fucking care. I'll tell you all my spots. You guys can go there and you can try to find cool shit. I encourage everybody to go and try to find some cool shit and make art out of it. But here's what's crazy about this. What you're looking at right now, I actually gave people the opportunity to snag this. I saw this object and was like, dude, I have to buy this, but I didn't want to spend $75 on it, right? The vendor said she'd sell it to me for $65. I still didn't want to do it, but it was the most amazing piece of glass that I've like ever seen, and I didn't buy it. But guess what, y'all? I went back 6 months later, practically, and this thing was sitting in the exact same spot. So I grabbed this, and I also grabbed another incredible piece. As you can see, this Mother Mary, or this nun, rotating behind it here. But I also grabbed another really incredible piece. Check this out. This guy right here. Oh, I'm telling you. I mean, I gave people a chance. Just let it be known. If you're a thrifter and you look for cool shit, I gave you a chance and you failed. And I went back and I recouped the treasure, and now there's nothing you can do about it. But check this out. I also scored this. And just tell me that, you know, this pair isn't just stunning, you know? It was on sale. I went back. I got it. I came in for the kill, bada boom, bada bing. I really don't want to spend too much time talking about this stuff. I just want to make you guys excited with me. So boom, there's a brand new piece. And there's another brand new piece, bada boom, bada bing. And then here's one more brand new piece. And you might be looking at this like, okay, well, that's definitely not as striking and as exciting as what you just showed us. But the beauty of this is the contour of how it goes up, because it is shaped exactly, not exactly, but not all mushrooms are like this, but it is shaped like a mushroom. So I decided to buy it because if I stack a plate on top of it like this, then it turns into a mushroom. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that the most beautiful glass mushroom you've ever seen? So just a little spoiler alert, I'm going to work on something called Fairies Nebula this week, and I'm going to air it on Friday, and it's going to be special. It's going to be super gay and super feminine, but that's just what's coming through. That's what's calling me. So yeah, moving on. I could literally like talk about all of my trinkets with you for hours, but I think that was appropriate. That was enough. I feel like you guys are hanging on the edge. You want to see more, but no, you're gonna have to wait until Friday when Fairies Nebula is released. Fairies Nebula. Oh my god, that sounds like a gay club, doesn't it? Do you guys want to go to Fairies Nebula? Fuck yeah, dude. All right. Next topic here. Shout out to all the Kill Tony fam. Shout out to you, because after I was on Kill Tony, some peeps were checking out the page, and then they surprisingly landed on this video where I talk about these problems that I was having with my dad, where we got into an argument, and a lot of people saw it, and I did not expect that. I kind of wanted people to land on everything else but that. You know, I post a lot of content where I share some intimate shit, and people landed on it and they were just like, thank you. You know, some people were like, you're out of your fucking mind. And I'm like, great. your mom's got nice tits. You know, I like coming back with the mom jokes. But for the most part, I got really positive feedback. So I thought that a really cool thing to do in this episode, in this transmission of Originz, is to tie together my current state of my relationship with my dad into something that happened in the past and how I created a piece of art to help me through the difficulties that I was experiencing with my father, and how this actually ties in to the next phase of Originz and reflections, and how after all this pretty light stuff happened, the universe taught me to pay attention to what's in front of you and to reflect on it, right? Like, wait, what? Twist your little beard knobby thing and get your gears turning? What do you mean reflect on it? Both like literally, like figuratively, like what do you mean? Like, well, no, seriously, like reflect on it. Like take a picture out in nature, reflect it, observe it, magnify it, see what comes up. So over time, this whole 147 experience, you know, part of what it's taught me is to observe, magnify, and reflect. All of which are 7-letter words. And we'll get into that 7-letter word thing in a completely different episode, because it's not happening right now. But 147 has taught me to observe, magnify, and reflect. So, what do I mean by that, and where did this all start? So I'm going to get into this, and then later on I'll connect the dad stuff and update you guys on more of what the fuck happened, okay? Again, cheers to you and yours. Everything you're going through, may it be blessed. May your family be blessed. May your future be blessed. Your past be blessed. Your ancestors be blessed. We are gonna come up. We are gonna fucking rule the world. Fuck all this bullshit and noise. Seriously. All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go. After the 147 thing happened, no, let's do this. That really dope piece that I just showed you a second ago, I got some really amazing footage of it, and I'm gonna play it while I speak. Okay, so check this out. Here we go. You guys aren't gonna believe this footage. I mean, talk about fucking spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. All right, check this out. Here we go. Let's begin. After all this pretty light stuff happened, the 147 stuff continued, became more concentrated and more in my face and more impossible to ignore. I just started to take it as a sign to pay attention. You know, whenever something coincidental, whenever a synchronicity occurs, whenever I have a profound thought, and then something, some strange noise happens in the background, these are correlations that I would draw of how these other dimensional beings can communicate with us. So, I don't know, the origins of 147, whether it's a being or another planet, but somehow it communicates with me. And, oh, I got a little bit off track there. Stand by. Let me get it all together here. Exactly. Okay, here it comes. So, this series of events and synchronicities and correlations ultimately told me to pay attention to what's right in front of you, and pay attention to synchronicities, as I just mentioned. And one time I was walking through the park, and there was this wooden fence, and one of the fence posts was painted white, and it just looked like an exclamation mark. And I felt in that moment that the universe was just telling me to pay attention, to whatever I was about to experience, not necessarily in that moment, but to just pay attention to perhaps the next 15 minutes, the next 20 minutes, perhaps the rest of the day, who knows. But that was the indication that I got. So I started looking around, and I started kind of just feeling things out, and then all of a sudden I peered into this puddle, and I peered kind of through the puddle and into the reflection above it. And I was really overtaken by the contrast of water that flooded this park that I was walking through. So that was what I was pulled toward. So I took out my phone and I took a picture of this area, right? And now I'm going to show you this picture that I took. But what I did with this picture was I reflected it, because that's what, again, I mentioned that 147 kind of encouraged me to do, as far as one aspect of it, was observe, magnify, and reflect. So, check this out. This was the picture that I took. So this is the picture that I took here. And I reflected it. And if you look above where the red circle is, that's the whole image. And then below, it's zoomed in. And let me see if I can actually make it bigger. I think I can. Let's see. Let's see, scale. There it is, right here, right here, right here. Yes, fuck yeah, here we go. We did it. Now we just need to move it downward. Here we go. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so easy. Oh, I thought that was gonna be so much harder. Okay, ultimately, from my experience, and before I continue, I just wanna say that I don't think that I'm right or wrong. I don't claim to know anything to be exactly true. I just feel it's important for me to share my experience with you of how I put all these pieces together and how me as a creative individual, the man behind, the wizard behind Alien Wizard Science, came to be, and the experiences that made me, hence the name Originz. So, I don't know if you guys see what I see, but when I went home and I reflected this picture and I saw this, I was like, man, this legitimately looks like a kind of like a gnome, kind of like a Lord of the Rings gnome, and he's hunched over because he's a little short guy, and there's his sleeves or maybe his coat. You can see his little white beard, his eyes, his nose. Perhaps he's wearing a crown, and he's standing at almost like this gate, this portal, this rip in time, and I just was really blown away by this because I had the inclination, based on that white fence post, to pay attention, and it's a series of events that led me to taking this picture and then finding this little person. So, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, I don't know. I could be like completely hallucinating right now, and you're just like, Matt, you're totally insane. Like, what are you talking about? You may not see it, and I totally respect that. Okay. But this is my process, okay? This is part of my journey, and I need a safe space to tell my story, okay? Okay. So I see this little guy, and that was the beginning. That was when I was like, dude, some fucking shit is going on, okay? Some fucking shit is going on. And I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I kind of had that mentality, which I want to say is not a healthy mentality to have. If you are a psychedelic connoisseur and you like to trip and you get these dopamine rushes and these visions and you think that you're going to find the answer, you're never going to find the answer, because we are literally programmed to not find the answer. We're programmed to go into these realms, dance with the machine elves, say hello to Terrence McKenna and all that jazz, but we're not meant to know the answer. Perhaps the people that die, and then come back to life, perhaps they know the answer, but perhaps what happens to them is just a sliver of the pie, and we all experience something completely different when we die. Some of us wake up from a video game, some of us come back to life as goats, as flies, as a hair on a gorilla's back. Who the fuck knows? Anything is possible, which is why I think it's important to stay open-minded during these Originz episodes, transmissions, because we're literally floating in the middle, like up, down, left, and right. It's all made up. We're floating in space in the middle of an infinite universe. Like, literally, people, anything is possible. That's the mentality that I've had that's created so much excitement and has brought me to what I'm about to show you right now, okay? If anything's possible, if I can take a picture and there's like a little gnome man in another dimension that's just like, hey, what's up? What? Yeah, hey, what's up, dude? Elijah Wood's back here about to fucking get eaten by a fucking spider, dude. You should come check it out, dude. He's real. I know that little fucker's real. And I'm telling you, the reason why I know he's real, because I can feel it. I can feel it in my fucking soul, you know? There's a reason why, like, Lord of the Rings is dope as fuck, and it's because, like, we relate to it on some crazy soul level that we'll never understand. And it's because that whoever is running the world in Hollywood, they know that these mythical creatures and these mythical layers and realms, they're not just fantasy, okay? Star Trek, it's not just a badass show from 30, 50, fucking 40 years ago. It's like real life, okay? It's real life. Some species, planets, species have actually evolved into traveling to other planets across the universe, okay? And that's their life. And we made a show out of it. And that could be our reality too, someday. You never know. I feel like I'm getting off track here, so let me get back on track here. After I met this little cute gnome, then I started becoming more in touch with those opportunities to where I felt like nature was calling me. So I was walking out of my favorite park one day and took this picture. And this is, this picture brings me so much joy because, ladies and gentlemen, like, I'm so all about the idea that, like, there's aliens all around us and they're watching us. Like, they're like, trees are antenna for aliens, and they receive our signal on like our planet, and they watch us through the trees. They watch us through nature because for some reason they can't be here and thrive and dream and touch in this physical three-dimensional world, similar to like a fish in the water. You know, like a fish in the water will just never understand what it was like, but maybe a fish can become so intelligent that he can create an idea to create some sort of simulation to where he can transform his consciousness into something on land, you know, or to, yeah, exactly what I just said. So this beautiful work of art, I mean, speaks for itself. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. And I just wanna point out some stuff. I want you guys to look at the bottom here. And what I'm gonna do is how would I do this? You know, you guys are smart, okay? Here's what I want you to do. Look at the bottom in the middle, and then just look slightly up from that burst of light, directly in the center. Is it just me, or does it look kind of like with like an alien head? He's green and he's got eyes on the side of his head, and he's got the kind of oval shaped head. Like I see it, and it's almost like he's got this intense meditation look on his face, like he's concentrating so that he can see into this world and experience and breathe into this reality. And then if you look above him, there seems to be this like series, like this totem of faces. And I understand that, like, you can do this with pretty much anything and see faces, but I think when you're in these moments and you're in direct communication with something and it speaks to you, you can really tap into some stuff, some extra special stuff. And I think that I have tapped into some extra special stuff here. So if you look above the alien here, I see this as like a chest plate of this other, you know, being with his jaw. You can see his two eyes. There's a dot right in the middle of his head. I mean, it's right there. You know, it's right there, and it's powerful. It's otherworldly. It's intelligent. It's intense. It's nature. It's what life is beneath all of this riffraff. This picture is an immaculate demonstration of what life really is. You know, that's kind of how I see it. I'm gonna go on to the next picture. Check this one out. This one I called Abrazos, which means I think hugs or like embrace in like Espanol. And again, you can see like this, there's always this power, this otherworldly being, majestic presence that just, oh my God, it's literally like tripping. You can't describe it. It's just a feeling. It's just something you have to surrender to and just be in awe of. Do you see what I see? Am I tripping? Honestly, I don't really trip that much. I'm a total pothead and I like to drink beer, but you know, I trip once in a while. Here's another one. You know? And another one, and another one, and another one. So, yeah, without, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to like prove anything to you. I just want you to be inspired. I just want you to be like, whoa, like what? You know, if I can get that much out of you, then I'm successful. Even if you leave some comment, you're like, you're crazy. I get excited because then I get to say something about your mom. You know what I mean? If you say something like, dude, you're going into psychosis, I would say, well, I love it when your mom's in psychosis because it makes her titties jiggle. You know, something. It's just got to be a mom thing. It's always got to be a mom thing. I could do it all day for some reason. I love it. So that brings us to our next phase of this part, and I thought it would be really fun to take an instrumental break and play you guys something really special. I'm going to play you guys the first song that I ever made. When I discovered Pretty Lights music, I thought, oh my God, I want to be an artist. I just didn't even know. I thought I wanted to be a famous DJ. This guy's music just lifted me up, and I wanted to go 1,000,001 directions. And the first direction I thought I wanted to go was to make music. And I still make music now. But back then, I made music, and I actually... No, let's not get into that. Let's save that for another episode. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is my first song that I ever made, and it is called Virgin. Virgin? Oh my God, it's so kinky. And I'm just gonna do some visual stuff. We'll listen to it, we'll come back, and then we'll proceed. So take a bong break, beer break, bathroom break, and we'll see you in just a moment. Much love, much love. Alright, that was dumb. That was stupid. That went. It was like gonna be a lot cooler. That went a lot cooler in my head. I think I just feel like a big dum dum. Anyway, no, I'm not a big dum dum. It's all right. We're here to make mistakes. You know, one of the fucking. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I see what's going on. It's gonna be all right. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna recover from this, you guys. I'm gonna recover from this. Here we go. Okay. Welcome back from that really lame ass music video. I hope you liked the music. It was the first song I ever made, and led me to the whole Pretty Lights thing. Fucking who cares about that? All right, we're moving on now. I hope you did. You like my song? I showed you my song. I'll find a way to like tie that back in and make this fucking. I fucked up the momentum. I'm so stupid. I fucked up the momentum. All right, I actually didn't. I got this. Watch this shit. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, so, bloop. Oh, did I get you? Did you think the computer froze? Oh my gosh. You're silly. You're silly. Okay. All right, here, let me redeem myself. I told you guys that I signed the back of the Pretty Lights art, and this is what it looked like. And on the back of it, it was a message from Slug from Atmosphere. That said, hey, you know, Derek from Pretty Lights, thank you. I heard your shout out at the end of Ask Your Friends. And then Derek was like, oh, thanks, G. That's one of the dopest lines of all time. So I connected, you know, two of my favorite artists of all time. And then there's the proof. And one thing I forgot to mention in the last episode is that Derek said he was going to hang this work of art in his studio, which is super badass. And I mentioned that I made this connection by rapping on stage with Slug, and that actually did happen, and here is the proof, ladies and gentlemen. See, I told you I would redeem myself from that retarded music video that I just did. Here is me rapping on stage with Slug, and let's see here, how we doing on time? 39 minutes? Okay, it's not bad. We're having fun. Before I did the Pretty Lights thing, you know, made him the art and then delivered it to him. This was years before that. When I was in high school, Atmosphere was doing Atmosphere karaoke, and I would always show up at the Atmosphere concerts and be the first person in line. And sometimes he would come out there and he would talk to the fans, and it was really badass. And then he came out there and he saw that I was the first person in line, and I got to ask him about all of his new music and tell him what I thought about it. And then once the doors opened, I sprinted upstairs, and I was the first person to sign up for the karaoke, but they didn't want to do, they didn't have my song that I wanted to do, which was called Primer, which was like a bonus track, I think maybe on the Overcast album or something, where it's like, I own the Camaro and the mobile home, so where the fuck you gonna go? And they didn't have that. So instead I had to do Pour Me Another, which is one of my favorite Atmosphere songs of all time. Pour me another so I can forget you now. Pour me another so I can come lay you down. Pour me another so I can remember how true that I am to this addiction of you now. Such a dope ass song. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to turn on some music for us in the background. Bada boom, bada bing. Stand by. Here we go. Okay. So I sign up for the song. I'm in the front row. And then a bunch of people do the rap songs before me. They get to go do karaoke. And then all of a sudden, I'm completely left out. And I'm just like, what the fuck, right? Because he's like, all right, we're going to start the show now. And I'm just like, oh, no. I didn't become a fan, for this long and become so dedicated to this music that I remember every single lyric so that I could be turned down right now. You know what I mean? Like, I am here to succeed. So Slug thanked everybody. Atmosphere, the guy to the left, he thanked everybody for coming out to the show. And the show was going to start soon. And I was like, no way, dude. I'm getting up on that fucking stage and I'm going to rap with this guy. So I take off my ring that I was wearing and I just threw it at him. And it hit him in the chest. It hit him in the chest and he caught it. And he said, who the fuck just threw this ring at me? And I said, I threw the ring at you. And he said, why'd you do that? And I said, because I was the first person to sign up on that list and you didn't call my name. And he goes, well, what song did you want to do? And I said, I wanted to do Pour Me Another. And he said, I don't want to hear that song. I was a scrub when I wrote that song. And I said, well, how the fuck was I supposed to know that? And then I gave him the look. And then he gave me the look. And then he gave security the look to let me over the fence. And I jumped up on stage. And I ripped Pour Me Another from start to finish. Better than anybody could ever fucking possibly imagine. And at the end of the song, when they cut the music, the whole fucking crowd cheered for me. So loud. I remember looking out, seeing all the hands in the air, screaming and yelling for me and cheering for me and thinking, this is my fucking life. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to feel this. I want to feel this all the time. I want to get on stage and I want to give it my all and I want to perform my best. And I want to change the world. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is because there's been this series of events, a lot, especially this Kill Tony experience. I got on stage with Atmosphere and nothing was going to stop me. I went and delivered that piece of artwork to Pretty Lights and nothing was going to stop me. And I went to Austin, Texas to get on Kill Tony and truthfully nothing was going to stop me. And so I call out to you dreamers, you confident dreamers, and even you little sleepy ones that are still learning how to spread your wings and fly. Do your thing. Be you. Take chances. Be unapologetic. And don't give up. Because this reality is just so much more than we could imagine. And I think that all of these characters, that I'm showing you, just to tie all this together, and, because some of you are just like, well, what the fuck does all of it mean? I think that some of these characters that we can see, there we go. I think of these characters that we can see in these trees. I think that they're like our helpers. Energetically, I think they have the power to create synchronicities in our lives, to create abundance. I genuinely believe that. And, I just want to express gratitude right now to all of these interdimensional beings that are all around us. Cheers. Cheers to you, wherever you are in this universe. Cheers to you, and thank you for all of the divine, the numinous hard work that you put into this life for us to enjoy. And that will bring us to the next part of Originz. We talked about the reflections. I showed you some examples of how I was inspired by Mr. Little Gnome. And I started to see the world in a completely different way after that. Like, here's a really good example, okay? Boom, there it is. Sun rising over a pyramid. If you just make that into a silhouette, it's a keyhole. And that looks to me like that's, you know, there's a key there. There's a door. This is a portal. You know, the pyramids are a portal. This is how I started to see the world. And I would take a closer look at things, you know, because that's what this number 147 kind of grounded me into. It's like, don't just breeze through life like, you know, this is all just 9 to 5. I mean, there's some seriously magical shit happening all around us, especially if you live in nature. Beauty also exists, you know, in like cities and stuff too. A lot, honestly. Tons and tons. Beauty exists everywhere. But I started seeing the world in completely different ways. You know? I started seeing through the bullshit. You can see right now, this piece of art up top, this is something that I created around the time I discovered these reflections in nature. I started implementing reflections in my own artwork to parallel my experiences that I was having with the gnome and all the pictures that I took and exposed to these otherworldly beings. So I started to hide imagery in my artwork that you could only see when you held up to a mirror. And this piece of artwork up top, this is called Celebrating Quitting. And in the middle, you can see how this giant tetrahedron, I showed how there's so much symbolism that comes from this giant tetrahedron that's used in religion, that's used in fast food, that's used in, you know, big corporations, it's used in auto Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, and then I did a funny little thing like a sheep, like we're all sheep, you know, under this rule and this symbolism. But the craziness is that all of this, the symmetry, essentially, every single one of these things that I've illustrated here, all thrive on symmetry, right? And these otherworldly beings are symmetrical, or we connect with them through symmetry. So I think that there's a parallel truth that these corporations know about when they implement symmetry into their work, is because it connects to a very deeper part of ourselves, which could be these beings that we're seeing in these pictures. So here's one more for shits and giggles. You know, it's like simplification, right? I think I want to make a really important point here is when all this happens, when you're tripping balls, it's so much to take from the experience, you know, to integrate. It's very difficult, and it doesn't help to try to over-explain it. It helps to simplify. So when I'm experiencing all this craziness in real life without tripping, the same goes for that too. Like, you can't overthink the experiences that you're having. You just have to simplify the macrocosm and the microcosm and see the parallels between what's, you know, kind of just right in front of your face and start connecting the dots. So for this one, I did like internet next to the universe and the parallels between them. And we'll get into that like deeper another time. I'm going to move forward now into the artwork. Oh my gosh, this song is so perfect. Honestly, the way it came in as soon as I pulled this image up. I have nothing but gratitude for this life, you guys. I'm so glad to be in this space with you, honestly. Okay. When I started seeing all the reflection stuff and I started being inspired and creating imagery, this was one of the images that I painted with paint markers, and it was essentially me crying out to the universe with like a whole lot to say, which is why this artwork is called ESCUCHAME, which means listen to me in Spanish. And then I created, you know, we're just breezing through these because they're not like the main topic right now. I'm leading up to something important here. And then this one was Seriously Curious. Just a free-for-all of fucking epicness. And then this one here, Lost in the Obvious. I started creating a really epic series of art because of the experiences that I was having in the forest. You know, it was like, how do I document this, not only with a photograph, but with, you know, an expression of art. So this was my medium. I used paint markers to create these images. And now what I'd like to do is tie some stuff together, okay? So here we go. This is where we're all gonna tie some stuff together, and then I think we're gonna bring this episode to a close. I'll look at my notes and see if there's anything else I wanted to mention, because right now we are at 51 minutes. Okay, we're making pretty good time. So, this piece of artwork is called Which Kind of Snake, and it's actually time for me to like come back for a second. We just need to like ground into me for a moment. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. In the episode that I mentioned earlier, where people landed on, where I talked about this issue that I had with my dad, let me tell you it in a nutshell right now, but you can go watch that episode. I'll throw it up for you at the end of this so you guys can draw some correlations. But my dad and I, we were spending some time together. We spent too much time together. We got in an argument. There's actually a lot more that happened that honestly I'm not ready to talk about, that I discovered after all that. It got shit spiraled way out of control. It got crazy. I don't want to talk about the details, and I just realized that I never mentioned the details until this moment. So I'm gonna skip to the meat. I'm gonna skip to the meat and potatoes, okay? And just say that I made a video talking about the importance of not seeking validation from our parents. That the only person that we should ever seek validation from is standing in the mirror, and that external validation is fake and just dopamine rushes, and that fulfilling validation comes from within, comes from the internal self. So let's see, how do we transition here? Let's think about this. Okay, here we go. I talk about the experience I had with my dad because in the past, I had to cut him off too. Right now, I've established some serious boundaries with my dad. I don't talk to him. I can't. He literally betrayed me. Like, he legitimately betrayed me. And like I said, I can't get into the details. But the fact of the matter is, I can't trust my own father. So I had to establish some boundaries recently. I gave him my email address. I said, here's your line of communication with me. You know, it's sacred, so be careful watch what the fuck you say to me, because this may be your last line of communication with me, Mr. Buster Balls. So, this isn't the first time that you know, shit has hit the fan. And the first time that shit hit the fan with my dad, I had to cut it off with him, because I was going through a lot. I was going through this whole 147 pretty lights thing. A lot of synchronicities were happening, you know, the little fucking gnome in the bush calling me and telling me to take pictures of nature. Like, all kinds of crazy shit is happening in my life, and it's like, all we want to do is go to our parents, you know what I mean? We just want to, like, mommy, daddy, like, look, here's what I did, here's what's happening, and we want their love, we want their support, we want their understanding. And as a grown-ass man, I didn't ask for any of this crazy-ass shit to happen, but it did, and I accepted it, and I've been like Zelda on a fucking quest or something, and I thought that I could talk to my dad about it, you know what I mean? I thought that I could share the intimate details of my experience and try to talk some sense into it, and I was shut down by him, you know what I mean? He pretty much said to me, Matthew, you are not a fucking prophet, you know? And I never claimed to be a prophet. I was just sharing my experiences and felt like I was, something is calling upon me to like deliver some sort of message, is kind of what I was getting at. And again, I just wanted support from my dad. I just wanted some like, cool, but instead I just got this, you're not a fucking prophet, He didn't like the people that I was hanging around because he was very judgmental, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I just said I had to cut it off. I said I can't fucking do this anymore, And so I cut off contact with my dad for 2 years. And during that time, I created a piece of art, which is this. One night, I was playing Grand Theft Auto because I am obsessed with Grand Theft Auto Online and just doing chaotic, crazy shit to innocent people. And something was like, Matt, stop what you're doing. Like literally just stop what you're doing. You have to go make some fucking art. And I always trust that feeling. It's the same feeling that I get in the forest when some entity is like, take a picture of this and go and reflect it. This is the same kind of vibe. Like I stopped what I was doing. I went out to my art studio and I just let it rip. I just let it come through me. I let this other worldly energy, whatever you want to call it, I let it come through the marker tip. I let it guide my hand, push and wavy lines and connect all these pieces to essentially draw a picture of my experience of what I was going through with my dad. But not just that, and also my experience with reflections, also my experience with the emotional stress of everything that I was experiencing with this number and synchronicities. This was my steam pipe, art, these paint markers. This is where I could create this. This is where I could let off steam and really unleash the madness of my experience. So this piece of artwork is called Which Kind of Snake? And what I'm going to do right now is I am going to go here. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this super duper wide angle here. Sorry about that. Sorry, I cut it out. There we go. And then, oh boy, she's sensitive. That's okay. We're still rolling. Everything's okay. Okay, and then we're going to go here. And I'm going to open this. Boom. Okay. Here it comes. There it is. Now we're going to full screen it. Full screen. Okay, boom. Let's move this fucking bitch-ass nun out of the way. There we go. And we'll zoom in a little bit. Boom. Thank you guys so much for your patience. The reason why I'm doing this is because I have a laser pen, so I can just go like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's much easier. So here we are. And I don't know why it's cutting out, but nothing will stop this show. The show must go on, so let's just keep going. Everything's going to be okay. I drew this. It's called Which Kind of Snake? And it reflects on knowing whether some of the people in our life are toxic and will stop at nothing to bring us down, or if they're just hurt. So which kind of snake is actually spelled W-I-T-C-H, kind of snake. So it's because it's not like, which kind of snake is it, this one or that one. It's a which kind of snake, which means that it needs to be explored. Observe, magnify, and reflect, essentially, is what it boils down to. But the witch kind of snake implies that there are good witches and there are bad witches. There are witches that create magic, and there are witches that are menacing and do evil, right? And this is a play and a parallel on our parents, and this is a play and a parallel on our experience with relationships with people. And we have to ask ourselves, how do we establish boundaries with people who are legitimately fucking toxic and venomous versus people who are just hurt, who did not have a good upbringing and that are projecting their sadness onto us? Because here's the difference, you guys. Here's the fucking difference. One of those people, sets of people, deserves major boundaries, like line in the fucking sand. The other set of people, they deserve compassion and love. and understanding. So which kind of snake? Which kind of snake? Check it out, check it out. Which kind of snake? Remember this pose, motherfuckers. Watch this pose. Which kind of snake, okay? We have to determine, we have to have discernment, which kind of snake it actually is. So check this out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down for you and show you everything that's here. This is me. These are my two eyes that are also... Oops, wrong camera. I'm so sorry. These are my eyes that are UFOs. One eye, two eye, mouth. Here's my nose right here. And then here's my body. And here's one of my arms. My fingers are feathers. Here's another one of my arms. My fingers are also feathers here. And I'm running away. You know, my legs kind of disappear right here. This is just kind of my body, I guess. But I'm running away and I'm screaming. This is my mouth right here because I'm looking over my shoulder and there's this giant fucking snake that's curled up chasing me through the universe trying to bite me, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god, like I'm running away from this snake because it wants to kill me. And that is essentially me running, you know, avoiding my father's venom, because Jesus Christ, whatever he went through as a child, God bless him, you know. So that's the element of me. So the beauty about this artwork is that when I created this, and when I created all of these bodies of work, it's not just a particular topic about my experience, but it's a mixture of my personal human experience and my spiritual cosmic experience as a human, and putting all this together. And you may be asking, what do you mean? And I will totally explain that to you right now. Based on what I learned about reflections, I implemented the reflection aspect into this work of art. So when you reflect it, this is what it turns into. An absolutely incredible totem. You can see that there's clearly an alien right there with his eyes and his mouth. And again, remember, look on the left and right, you can see his hands. That's him deciding which kind of snake, you know, trying to find a balance between discernment and boundaries, with that beautiful third eye gleaming, you know. This is what happens when you reflect this piece of artwork. It becomes this cosmic totem, just like you saw in the trees, where there seems to be this level of different consciousnesses or different levels of beings, dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, however you want to look at it. That also seems to have implemented itself into the intelligence, into the creative intelligence process of this work of art. Because you're looking at it and you're seeing that this mouth at the bottom here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this camera now. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see, how do I, oh yeah, here we go. I think I go like this. Oh, nope. Ooh, I like that zoom though. We can definitely play with that right now. Let's just open this. Okay, and then, there we go. This is much better. So you can see that this mouth at the bottom here correlates with this eye, with this set of eyes, 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 and with this set of eyes. Or you can see this eye as a mouth that correlates with this set of eyes, or with this set of eyes. Literally, the possibilities are endless. And I think that this totem is a tribute to what I learned and what I experienced in nature. Because there seem to be these intense beings, these multiple levels of consciousness that are almost just like on the other side of the curtain, that are just ready to break through, you know, and just communicate with us. And that's the energy that I get from this piece. And there are so many details in here, and I feel like discussing them right now is not entirely necessary, but I do want you to notice that, like, this alien with his head and his arms, one of his hands here, he's holding a feather and another feather, and these are his hands, and he's holding a feather just like this. It's like I told you earlier, you know, you have to discern, you know, just like you have to find a balance between poison and compassion. Something like that. So what I had to do was I had to ask myself, is my dad a venomous person? Is he trying to fucking destroy me, you know? And contrary to his actions, I would honestly give him the benefit of the doubt and say no. I would say that he is... What kind of snake is he? He's not a venomous snake. I would say that he's a hurt snake. I would say that most people are hurt snakes. Venomous people do exist, but most people are hurt snakes. And that's why I decided to rekindle things with my dad 2 years later, because this piece of artwork helped me understand what my dad was going through, you know? And that's why this piece of artwork is so significant to talk about and reflect on, because we don't necessarily have to end our relationships with people, especially family, you know, and loved ones. All we have to do is just establish better boundaries once we understand who they are and how they're programmed. And the reason why it's important for us to have compassion for people who are not venomous is because they're just products of their negative experiences, you know? And it's up to us to kind of break that lineage, you know, that what do they call that? I don't know, epigenetics, that trauma. It's up to us to break that cycle. And we do that through understanding and having compassion. So that is a little bit more behind the scenes of how all this is connected, and you know, a little update with my dad. This piece of artwork was created fucking 12 years ago. I cut him off 12 years ago for 2 years. I showed up on his doorstep and I said, hey, it's me. I want the best of us. I don't want all the bullshit. I don't want you to judge me. I don't want you to concern yourself with my friends. I want the best of us. I want to fart with you. I want to talk about tits. I want to joke. I want to play pool. I want to go see movies. I want to smoke weed. I want to drink alcohol. Like, come on, let's be bros here. You know, we all love the same things. Don't try to put yourself into my fucking life where you don't belong. And unfortunately, like, that's what he did recently. He you know, yes, he ate pizza on my floor in here, and that's what caused the thing. But then he did some dumb shit. He did some really dumb shit, and he crossed a boundary. And even then, you know, I'm like, okay, is he toxic or is he venomous? Is he venomous or is he just hurt? And the truth is, he's just a hurt person. So I think I want to maybe end this transmission by just saying thank you for being here, and that if you have some people in your life who are who you're not talking to, you have to ask yourself, are they toxic? Do they want to drag you down? Do you need to establish hard boundaries with them? Or are they just hurt? And do you need to do some seriously, like, inward understanding of yourself and compassion and not being judgmental toward others? It's very easy to turn a lack of compassion for self into judgment toward others. It's very, very easy to do that. So I ask you, and you know, tonight, I ask you, have you done that to anybody? Does someone you know and love need compassion and understanding from their experiences in life? Does that mean that you need to, like, let them back into your life, you know, and share the intimate details of your relationships and your dreams? Absolutely not, you know? It's really up to us to establish boundaries. So that's what this is all about. That's how we're going to tie all this together. You guys learned about the reflections, how this art was influenced, how it's influenced by my experiences, what's happening recently with my dad, and it's, you know, it's only gonna get better from here. So let me just take out my handy dandy notepad and just see if I miss anything here. Yeah, poisonous. Grand Theft Auto, drawing, stop to draw the art. Yeah, thought. Contacted from beyond. Yes, Matt, you're not a fucking prophet. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, like Listen, the reason why I had to cut my dad off is because I wrote here, I believed in myself so much that I couldn't surround myself with anyone who doubted me. So, like, I also want to leave here just by encouraging you to do the same too. It could be a toxic relationship or whatever, you know? If you have crazy dreams and you have people that are saying, no, that's impossible, don't do that, you need to get those people out of your life immediately, because that's just how it works energetically. We got to surround ourselves with people love us and who support us in our crazy ideas. Simplifying life to understand its complexity. I definitely talked about that. My mom and stepdad came to visit me, and I didn't have to worry about them betraying me. I wrote that down too. It's hilarious. It's like, it's true. My mom and my stepdad came into town recently, and yeah, God, we had such a good time. We had such a good time. I'm so grateful for family, you know, so cherishable, good relationships with our family members. And I just made a joke, you know, when they left. I said, try not to betray me on the way home. Try not to betray me on the way home. But they would never do that. They would never do that. So yeah, taking the good with the bad, and know how to form boundaries with the bad is what I wrote. Yeah. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. And then one more little note at the end here. I wrote, people are always asking me, are you a burner, Matt? Are you a burner, right? Because I got the lab coat and the glasses. Well, guess what? I've never been to Burning Man, right? Can you imagine? I'm just naturally this fucking cool, you know? I don't need Burning Man. Someone said, you gonna go? I said, if you fly me in on a helicopter and carry me around in a horse and carriage, I'll go to Burning Man. But right now it just sounds too hot and too sandy. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna end it with this gangster ass fucking shit. Every day of my life is Burning Man. I embody the spirit of Burning Man in this laboratory every fucking day of my life. I don't wait once a year to spend a bunch of money to go hang out in the desert to feel artsy. I live, I eat, and I sleep, and I breathe art. Alien wizard science. Till I fucking die. Alright? We're in this together. Let's fucking go. That was it. You guys, this has been crazy. This has been so much fun. Look for the signs. Follow the clues. Follow the little gnome. Okay, you guys? Find your little gnome, and I will see you on the next episode, or whatever this is, of Originz. All right. Peace and love. Peace and love. Oh no, peace, love, and light refractions. That's my saying. Peace, love, and light refractions.